Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Tonight is Warcraft Monday, and I'm going to be reacting to the true story of Garrosh Hellscream on World of Warcraft Machinima by Nixxiom. This is going to be interesting. The true story, as if we didn't know the true story before. So that means either this is fabricated or it is like a detailed true story of Garrosh Hellscream. Yeah. But in a Nixxiom fashion, if I can say. Okay. If you want to check out my previous reactions to other World of Warcraft Machinima by Nixxiom videos, remember the playlist card is going to be at the top. Just click on it and you'll be able to access it. If you want to check out the original video as well as Nixxiom's YouTube channel, the links are in the description below. Okay, let's start. 3, 2, 1, go.
The true story of Garrosh Hellscream. If there is one character that is hated, scorned, and just overall treated so unfairly in World of Warcraft, it's Garrosh Hellscream.
Deservedly so.
And why, you might ask? Well, that is a good question, so sit back, weary listener, and listen to this sad story of cruelty and of misunderstandings towards a young orc who only wanted to do good.
Misunderstandings? Nixxiom, I already don't like where this is going.
Garrosh was the son of the orc chieftain Garrosh Hellscream, who sadly had to leave to go to war when Garrosh was just a little boy. While his father was gone, Garrosh grew sick and frail with a nasty case of the chicken pox.
Why does he have a mohawk? Oh gosh. Wait, can orcs get chicken pox? Nah, I think this is fabricated.
And so his clan sent him to live in Mag'har, a place where all sick and helpless children go to either recover or to die. While there, Garrosh dreamed of his father, and whether or not he was okay, praying that he was still alive. Each night, Garrosh dreamed of returning with his father to his tribal lands. Yet with each passing month, there was no sign of the orc chieftain.
Yeah, he was too busy trying to conquer Azeroth. And also drinking the demon's blood, Manaroth, yeah. And Gul'dan was there too, so, you know.
One day, however, word drifted into Nagrand that the orcs had drank demonic blood and had become corrupted. The people of Mag'har were shocked, but even more so when the news came that it was Garrosh Hellscream who had been the first to drink. Garrosh was in shock, embarrassed, and disgusted, and so too were his fellow young orcs in the village.
Okay, I don't know if this is true. You know, this might be also be fabricated by Nixxiom, but I'm not sure. I don't know about the history of Garrosh before he was, could I say, adopted by Thrall, you know, taken care of by Thrall before that happened. I don't know about his life before that, yeah.
The next several years, they teased Garrosh, threw rocks at him, and called him names, despite the fact that one day Garrosh was meant to lead the village. For years, Garrosh was depressed, angry, bullied, but he found comfort in a small Elec plushie that his mother had given him before she died.
To Gary.
One day, however, everything changed. Into the sickly village one morning came Garrosh's savior, a man unlike anything he had seen before.
Is that a Draenei? Okay.
Atop a white unicorn with golden hooves and bubblegum hair came a massive talking green pickle, bringing with him a message of hope.
What? Nixxiom? Oh my gosh. I wonder how Chris Madsen feels about all of this, you know? I mean, this is so funny, really. This is really funny. Oh, gosh.
You see, the pickle spoke to Garrosh first and told him of his father, Grom. He said to Garrosh that although Grom had been corrupted by the orcs, it had been he who had saved their people from the blood curse by giving up his very life. Garrosh was in awe at the story of the Pickle Messiah, even more so when the Great Pickle told him that he himself led the remaining host of orcs from Grom's horde on another world. When this was said, Garrosh fell to his knees and begged the Green One to take him atop his white unicorn steed and show him the lands from whence he came.
You know, some of it I do believe, you know, what happened, you know, the events, yes. But then, of course, Nixxiom is woven in his own stories inside the truth, making it diluted and just sound very propaganda-like. Yeah, I don't trust you, Nixxiom. I see through all of this, okay? I'm not entirely 100% sure, you know, about what happened in the past with Garrosh, but no, something feels wrong here. This is propaganda, definitely.
The Green Pickle agreed, and together, the two rode off into the sunset.
Not like that. Oh gosh.
When the two at last reached the kingdom of Pickle Jesus,
Garrosh
found it to not be what he expected. Where he envisioned a land of beauty and sandwich bread, instead he found a dry, boring, and dusty desert where all the orcs lived miserably. Garrosh asked the Pickle why he forced his orcs to live in such terrible conditions.
I think in, what was it again, Warcraft 3? When, yeah, I think it was Warcraft 3, right? When Thrall began his construction, or should I say, began the settlement of Orgrimmar. I don't remember the reasons why he chose this place specifically. Maybe it's because it's far away from, you know, the Night Elves and from any other Alliance member. No, but this was before, I think, the Night Elves joined the Alliance. I can't remember. But, you know, it was far away from all other people on Kalimdor, you know. There wasn't really any type of threat to them where they were stationed. There wasn't any possible invasion by some other force, so they could stay where they were, build a civilization there in the desert, in the rocky landscape, and they would thrive there, you know, because they're also orcs. You know, suffering is part of who they are, I think. Yeah.
But the Pickle responded only by slapping Garrosh across his innocent face and telling him to shut his mouth. And so for months, Garrosh lived alongside the suffering orcs who were starving, lived in the most filthy of mud huts, and constantly suffered from sunburn. Garrosh was saddened and disgusted by the Pickle's kingdom, but what could he do? After all, he was just one orc. One day, however, after Garrosh had finished baking gingerbread cookies and helping old orc women cross the street...
Since when? I would like to see that. I would like to see video evidence of that actually happening. Until I have that, Nixxiom, no, it's a lie.
He was summoned by the Great Pickle to a council. There, the Pickle told Garrosh of the threat of the Scourge, a massive army of undead that threatened all life on Azeroth. Garrosh quickly stated that the undead should be dealt with and destroyed, but the Pickle said that he wasn't ready to commit troops to any war yet, as he...
Oh yeah, I'm not sure about that either. I'm not sure about that. But because Nixxiom is saying these things, I don't believe him.
He was having the orc army build another mansion for him. Garrosh was outraged by the Pickle's arrogance, so much so that he attacked him, and the two entered into a fight. For a moment, it almost seemed as if Garrosh was going to defeat the evil magical Pickle, But suddenly, their fight was stopped by a zombie dragon invasion on Orgrimmar. As the Pickle recovered from his wounds, Garrosh ran off to defend the city along with the soldiers of the Horde, and together they repelled the undead host.
Interesting. So what you're telling me is that the Lich King sent a force all the way down south in Kalimdor to fight against the orcs in Orgrimmar. I don't know if that's true, you know? I mean, the Lich King has been focused on Northrend for a very long time. I just don't see that happening. Maybe it did happen, but I don't think so. Guys, in the comment section, you guys tell me, did this actually happen? Yeah, because I think Nixxiom is continuing with his propaganda here.
After the battle, Garrosh claimed that he would lead the forces of the Horde into Northrend and defeat the evil Lich King, sparing the orcs from suffering any further pain. And from the shadows, the Great Pickle watched in anger. In Northrend, Garrosh led his troops with honor, slaying countless undead, preaching of honor, freeing slaves.
Wait a minute, isn't that Surafang who's doing all of that? Not Garrosh. No, man, it was Surafang. Definitely it was Surafang, not this guy. Or maybe it was Surafang's son, I can't remember. No. Maybe he did.
That the Lich King had taken prisoner, and more. Under his leadership, the Horde burned Naxxramas, defeated Yogg-Saron, and even cast the Lich King from his throne atop the dreaded Ice Cream Citadel. While in Northrend, Garrosh's men hailed him as a war hero and claimed that he was the greatest leader the Horde had ever known, something that upset the Pickle even further. One night, under the cover of darkness, the Pickle decided to execute a master plan to defeat Garrosh. He had made the mistake of bringing him to Azeroth, and now he would have to correct it. That evening, the Pickle began to edit Garrosh's Wowpedia page, making claims that he treated the Alliance like garbage, that he acted like a brute when in the audience of King Varian, that he constantly questioned authority, and that he was an overall dick. Across Azeroth, thousands read these edits and believed them to be true.
Because they were true. Because I actually saw video evidence of that. You know? King Varian, Thrall, they were having discussions, and this guy couldn't handle it. Garrosh couldn't handle it. He wanted to attack, and he did. I remember that cinematic. So yes, it happened. It happened.
Garrosh's image was ruined in the eyes of all that were not with him in Northrend. When Garrosh returned to Orgrimmar, he was treated as a hero by some, but by others as a huge jerk. One in particular was Cairn Bloodhoof, who kept telling Garrosh that he was a pussy and he would never 1v1 him outside of Orgrimmar. Garrosh had no time for mere duels, however, for the Pickle had summoned him to his palace to talk. While there, the Great Pickle told Garrosh that he was going back to Nagrand to plow orc bitches and enjoy a nice vacation, something that made Garrosh rather upset.
Lies. Lies. He's going there to retire, to be with his family, not to plow people. Yes, not to plow people, but to be with his family. Okay? Oh, Nixxiom.
But in his stead, however, the Pickle would appoint Garrosh as war chief of the Horde. Garrosh was shocked at such a thing, but he agreed, and he took up the title with honor, not realizing the evil plan the Pickle had conjured for him. After becoming war chief, everyone continued to give Garrosh a hard time, despite his attempts to explain that the Wowpedia propaganda page wasn't true and was written by people who were biased against him. Nobody took him seriously. Vol'jin called Garrosh a huge loser and left the city along with his trolls, and Cairn just kept bitching about wanting to 1v1 outside Orgrimmar's gate. Finally, when his stress levels had grown so high, Garrosh did agree to the 1v1, and both he and the
Makura
Tauren leader went at it outside the city. Garrosh, being the master of PvP that he was, obviously won, and Cairn totally got wrecked. This
Yeah, yeah, that actually did happen. However, there were external forces that also wanted this, this person to die. And I just can't remember who was assisting Garrosh with his weapons. I can't remember, guys. But yes, there's been a third force that has been trying to control the situation, just to make sure that this person dies. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think yes. Oh, I need to read up again on on the law surrounding Garrosh and his life in Orgrimmar. Yeah, but yes, this did happen. This actually did happen. Yeah, it's not propaganda here.
Made many orcs admire Garrosh more. But later on Wowpedia, many within the Horde read that Garrosh had cheated in the fight, turning more and more against him.
He did not cheat. He actually did not cheat.
And this...
In fact, he didn't want to have this Makura, He didn't want to have it. But when it happened and he defeated his opponent, he did feel a bit of remorse, I think. I think he did, yeah. But definitely he fought fairly and he won squarely. Yeah.
This was how it was for Garrosh for a number of years. He was blamed for bombing a druid academy in Stone Talon. He was blamed for unleashing the plague of undeath in Gilneas.
Not true.
He was blamed...
True.
For dropping a mana nuke on Theramore when he wasn't even there at the time.
He doesn't have to be there. He can give the order and then others will follow through with the order.
He was blamed for starting a war in the land of the pandas.
True.
Trying to steal a magic dinner bell, infesting himself with an old god's power, and more. All the while, Garrosh just tried to drown out the voices. It was like he was a young boy again, being mocked by his fellow orcs for doing nothing wrong. Sometimes he had weak moments, but he remained...
Sometimes he had weak moments. Nixxiom, you should work for a government that is controlled by a dictator. I think you would be the best propaganda manipulist, official in that country's history. You would work amazingly well in a dictatorship. I assure you. Wow.
Remained strong when he stood before the Horde, still unaware that it was the pickle ruining his image from his laptop in Nagrand. Finally, the majority of the Horde had had enough of Garrosh, and so too did the Alliance. Together, both the Horde and the Alliance armies marched upon Orgrimmar, and despite Garrosh's attempts to end the issue diplomatically, none would listen to him.
Diplomatically? Him? Please.
Propaganda had blinded them, and so they sieged Orgrimmar, broke into Garrosh's throne room, and did battle against the Orc war chief. Outnumbered, and just heartbroken at this betrayal, Garrosh allowed himself to be captured, knowing full well that these people intended to execute him.
He allowed himself to be captured? Nixxiom.
But as he awaited his execution, something miraculous happened. While in the cage, the Pickle's magical white unicorn came to him, telling Garrosh that he was sympathetic towards him, and that he could free him from his bindings and send him to a happy world free of hatred and fear. Garrosh, now broken and weeping, agreed. That is when the unicorn teleported him to an alternate timeline, one where he could live peacefully with his father and his clan, the one thing that Garrosh had always wanted.
At least here I can actually probably say, this might be true, that he has always longed to be with his father, to be closer to him, to know him more, to be loved and respected, to be noticed, you know. He never really got that chance before. And now that he's here with the Iron Horde, I think Nixxiom might be right about this part. Yeah.
But the Pickle wouldn't let such a thing happen. From the shadows, he ordered Vol'jin, the new leader of the Horde, to enter into this alternate timeway with him and to help kill Garrosh once and for all. The troll war chief, blinded by the Wowpedia propaganda, eagerly agreed.
Actually, with that cinematic, it actually suits with what Nixxiom is saying, Even though I know it, I know that cinematic, it does not say that there. Vol'jin did not say anything like that. Thrall did not say anything like that. But yeah, I like how he added that cinematic and then with his, voice overplaying on it, making it seem as if they were scheming a plan. It's not true, but yeah. Like I said, this guy should work for a dictatorship. He would do wonders.
Armies of both the Horde and the Alliance poured into this alternate peaceful timeline, the place where Garrosh had hoped he would find peace and love at last. But instead, he watched as his clan was butchered before his eyes. His father's honor was disgraced by the overwhelming forces of the Horde and the Alliance, and more. Finally, as Garrosh was sitting atop a small hill in Nagrand, he heard a familiar voice behind him. "Sup, bitch," the Great Pickle said. Garrosh, with a sad sigh, turned to face him. When he did, however, he was in shock at what he beheld. Pickle Jesus had his laptop open, and he taunted Garrosh by showing that it was him all along who had been spreading all the lies and falsehoods about him on Wowpedia and other websites. Enraged, Garrosh attacked the Pickle, screaming about how hopeful he was when he had been made the war chief, only to have it all ruined by the Pickle's lies throughout his reign. All the while, the massive talking Pickle laughed at Garrosh and called him a little bitch. Finally, when the Pickle had grown tired of the battle, he used his cheating magical powers to make a rock hand come out of the ground, grab Garrosh, and slowly begin to crush his bones. "Any last words?" the Pickle said. Garrosh, with his last breath before a great bolt of lightning struck him, simply said, "I trusted you." As the bolt of lightning took away Garrosh's life, the Pickle laughed in sheer delight, watching the younger orc die in agony. When it was all over, he even left his corpse atop the hill for all to see as proof of what happens when you betray the interests of the Great Pickle. And so Garrosh's body still sits atop that hill today, slowly wasting away. Some like to remember him as the great leader that he was never given credit for. But I like to remember him as the orc who did nothing wrong, who was wrongfully betrayed by who he thought was his closest friend. Poor Garrosh.
Okay. Guys, yeah, that was the true story of Garrosh Hellscream, a World of Warcraft machinima by Nixxiom. Yeah, Nixxiom, well done. Well done, propaganda machine, propaganda master. Well done, well done. You tried your best. You tried your best to make your client seem as if he's the innocent one, as he's the one who's always been put into these wrong positions, and he's actually the good guy who's just been bullied and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's nice. It's nice. I'm afraid you just can't cover up all the deaths that have been accumulating under his leadership. You can't cover that up. You can't cover up all of the death, the destruction that he has wrought while he was the the war chief of the horde. You can't. I'm afraid you can't. So yeah, you can try and explain it that, oh no, this is due to his past, or it's due to his father abandoning him, or it's due to, you know, people bullying him and the green pickle. You know, you can make up all these excuses, but I'm afraid he still made the choices to fight. He still made the choices to use weapons of mass destruction. This was all on him. Okay? Yeah. So your propaganda was nice. You know, I had a good laugh, but I am not sold. I am so sorry, Nixxiom. Try again next time. Try better next time. Guys, yeah, that's it for tonight with Nixxiom. Remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as Nixxiom's YouTube channel, the links are in the description below. If you like my reaction, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And I will see you guys next week. Yes, next week Monday, hopefully. Hopefully, you know, it's not going to be another propaganda video. Let's go back to the funny things. This was just pure propaganda, and I am not impressed. Try again next time, but far better than this next show.